Hi everyone, my name's Rowan and I'm bringing this video to you from the Ashmolean Museum. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple little lantern. And when you put a light in it, you can just see the light shining through it a little bit. It looks really pretty. It's really easy to make. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some lamps and lanterns that are in the Ashmolean Museum. And I'm going to be showing you everything you need to make the lantern in just a moment. So first things first, let's have a look at the list of things that you're going to need. So I'm just going to share my screen with you for a second. And I'm going to open up some pictures to show you. Takes a moment. Here we go. Here it's starting. Okay, so to make your lantern today, that's what it looks like when it's all lit up. You're going to need 2 sheets of white paper. A4 paper works really well, but any white paper will do as long as it's not square. It's got to be a bit sort of rectangular shaped, and that will work. You're going to need a pair of scissors, a glue stick, a black felt tip pen or a dark coloured pencil would work, a normal writing pencil, an eraser. You're going to need an earbud, also known as a Q-tip. If you don't have one of these, don't worry. You can still make the right marks using your little finger or a paintbrush. You also need 2 teaspoons of cooking oil in a bowl. So just a tiny bit of cooking oil, any cooking oil will do. And a little paintbrush would be good, a fine paintbrush if you've got one. And just to see your lantern lit up, you're going to need a battery operated light. Because we're going to be painting some oil onto the paper to make it see-through, well, you might know that oil and fire don't go together because it could be quite flammable. So please just use a battery light. Don't use a real candle. Right, guys. So say hello to the Ashmolean. Hello, Ashmolean. That's the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. That's the front door. It's closed at the moment, sadly, but we're hoping we'll be open soon. But I'm going to take you on a little tour. Come behind the scenes with me and see some of the lamps and lanterns in the Ashmolean. So people have always had to make light to see what they're doing when it gets dark. Nowadays, it's so easy, isn't it? You just flick a switch and it's nice and bright and you can see what you're doing. But in times gone by, people had to use flame to make light. And here you can see a picture of a lighted lamp. So this one isn't in the Ashmolean, but it's just to show you what an oil lamp looks like when it's lit up. It's got oil inside. It's got a little bit of string called a wick. You can probably just about see that in the oil. And you light the wick and that flame burns and burns away the oil. It's made of clay. It's a really simple lamp. And then on the other side, can you see an oil lamp that's shaped a bit like an animal? I wonder what animal it might be. I've got a little quiz for you in a moment to see if you can work it out. So that little lamp, can you see the oil would be poured into the hole in its back? And then the hole in the middle of its head would be for the wick or the string. And that's where you would light the flame and the flame would come up from the top of its head. It would look really pretty. Now it's time for that quiz. Do you think this lamp is shaped like A, a piglet, B, a cat, or C, a horse? You can shout out the answer to your grown-ups. I can reveal the answer is, it's A, piglet. Do you really think it looks like a piglet? When I first saw it, I thought it looked like a little dog, but that's what the experts at the Ashmolean say, so it must be a piglet then. Okay, what else can I show you? This is a very different image of a lantern here. It's a Japanese print by an artist called Kuniyoshi. It's almost 200 years old, but the colours are lovely and bright. And I'm showing you it because I want to show you that someone in the picture has a lantern in their hand. Can you see how the light shines out? and you can just see the dark lines of the pattern on the lantern. It looks a bit like a torch, doesn't it? But it must have a flame inside. So this artist that did this print, he was really inspired by a book that he'd read about Chinese heroes. And this is one of the heroes. Now have a really close look at that and see if you can work out what that hero is up to. Where is he? Where is this man hiding? Is he A, in the clouds, B, up in a tree, or C, in a maze? Have a close look. I can reveal the answer is B, up a tree. Can you see him? He's crouching in the branches. And in this story, this picture is from, this hero, he is called Kojoso. And the story goes that he's hiding up a tree, getting ready to steal something. So he must be shining his light down on the house where he's going to sneak in and steal something. So he really needs a new suit of armor because he wants to be an amazing warrior. And he's actually got a great skill. He's got like a superpower. He's brilliant at leaping up into trees or onto roofs. So he does make a very good thief. And he's just getting ready for the right moment to go and steal that suit of armor. And it's nighttime. Can you see the moon in the background? Okay, what's next? Got another lantern to show you. This lantern is in the Ashmolean and it is 400 years old or so. Can you see it's made of metal? And it's a very famous lantern because it was used in a story from history. And it's all about a man called Guy Fawkes. And that's him in the picture there. Now, Guy Fawkes, that's a real person from history. And he was caught doing a secret mission. He sneaked into the Houses of Parliament in London using this lamp to light his way in the dark. And he went down into these cavernous tunnels underneath the Houses of Parliament. And he was part of a secret plot. He was piling up lots of gunpowder barrels to make a big explosion. He wanted to blow up the Houses of Parliament and he wanted to kill the king because he was an enemy of the king and he thought he was a very bad king. So on the night, Guy Fawkes and his friends were down in the Houses of Parliament with this lantern, sneaking around, getting all the gunpowder ready. They had no idea that the people in charge upstairs had heard a rumour and knew what they were up to. And so the policemen in those days, they came sneaking down and they caught them red-handed. And they seized the lamp from Guy Fawkes. And that lamp was eventually given to the Ashmolean and we look after it now. It would have had a candle inside and it would have had a window made of horn, which is a horn from a cow, which is transparent. You can see the light through it, but it's missing now. So that was Guy Fawkes' secret lantern. Now, it's sometimes known as a secret lantern, this type of lantern. I wonder why it's called a secret lantern. Do you think it's A, it's only for secret missions? B, it magically makes you invisible? C, you can hide the light when you want to? Let's see what the answer is. What do you think? It is C. You can hide the light whenever you want to. It's got a special mechanism where you can twist it and you can turn the candle round inside, turn the window inside so that the lantern becomes dark. But the light's still on, but it becomes secret. So if someone's coming to get you, you twist it and you hide. And when it's safe again, you can turn it back round and you can sneak around with it. It's a very clever lantern for secret missions. This is the last lamp we're going to look at. It's a beautiful glass lamp and it was made in Syria about 700 years ago. It must have been very precious and treasured because it's made of glass and no one's dropped it in all that time. It's got lovely decoration on it, hasn't it? It would have hung up in a mosque. A mosque is the religious building of Muslims where they go to worship and pray. And they would have been able to look up and see a big row of these beautiful glass lanterns all lit up. I've got a little quiz question for you about this lantern, this lamp. Let's see. The writing on this lamp, can you see the blue decoration? It's actually writing. Now, would you say the writing on this lamp is in the language A, Chinese, B, Arabic, or C, Greek? What do you think? Did you know it was writing? It's B, Arabic, and it's done in a special way called calligraphy, which is when writing is made into an art form, and it is really pretty. So we're going to get ready now and do our craft activity. So I hope you've got all the materials that you need gathered. I'll go over them again one more time. And this is what your lantern will look like when it's lit up tonight. So I'll just leave that now. And you should be able to see me again. Hello. Okay, so it's time for us to have some fun crafting our lantern. I'm going to change my camera view now so that you can see what to do to actually make it. So just give me a wee sec. And, oh, you should have a different view now. Can you see all the craft materials there? Okay, so this is what you're going to need. Some white paper, 2 sheets will be enough. You're going to need, now I didn't put this in the list at the beginning, so it's a bit naughty of me to add this in now, but if you've got something round to draw around to make a circle, I've got a glass here, that might come in useful later. I've also got a pencil, a felt tip, some scissors, Pritt stick, this is a Q-tip, and I also have a little bit of oil and a brush, a battery light, and you might need an eraser as well. Okay, so let's get started with our lantern. Let's take 1 sheet to begin with. So you've got your sheet of paper. The first thing you're going to do is fold it up just a little bit. Probably if you put your fingers about 3 or 4 fingers up and not too far. So if I do it and show you, you can see about how far you've got to fold it. So can you see how much I've folded it? And we unfold it again. Can you see that line that it's given you? If you get your scissors and you can snip about every centimetre along, so leave quite big gaps, and you're going to snip along, and this is going to help us to make the base of the lantern later. That's it, snip, snip, snip. If you're struggling with your scissors, you might want to ask a grown-up to help you with this bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to measure it. It's just going to allow us to fold in at the end. I'll show you on this one. We're going to fold it in to make a base with a circle to stick it down. So once you've done that, we're ready to start decorating. Now, as this activity is part of a lovely festival, the Winter Light Festival in Oxford, so we are going to do a nice wintry scene. So you're going to need your black felt tip, and I'm going to start off by making a little hill going along the bottom with my black pen. So that's my little hillside. We're going to put some snow on it later. And I'd also like to have some stars. Now, to draw the stars, I'm going to teach you how to do your stars. So let's go over here so you can see a bit better. We're going to start off making our stars by making, and as if you're going to do a capital A. So we're going to go up and down. So like the start of a capital A. And then you're going to put some dots on either side of your A, not level with the top, just a bit down from the top. Can you see those dots? And now I'm going to join up across my pencil. And from the bottom of the A on the other side, go across. And then I'm going to go across at the top as well. I'm going to make another star. Will you make it with me? So let's start, and I'm going to make this one a bit smaller, I think. We're going to have different size stars. So we do an A shape. Then we're going to put our dot on either side of the A, and then join up your line, and then join up your other line, and then join across. And that has given us a 5-pointed star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when we're happy with it, we can rub out the lines in the middle, so we've just got the outline of the star. So I'm going to put another star over here. So you should be getting an expert at these by now. So we're going to make a big A shape. And then we're going to put our dots either side as a guide. Across we go, across we go, across we go. Lovely. And if you get your black pen, what you can do is you can carefully trace around the outside of your star, like so. And if you don't want those lines on the inside, you can always rub them out right at the end. Now, if you rub them out at the end, that'll give the pen a chance to dry. You don't want to have a smudgy pen. So I'll do these other ones now. Up, down, it's quite fun going round the outside. There we go. Okay, and I'll rub out my lines later. Another thing I'd like in my snowy scene, I want it to be at night. So I'm going to draw a moon, and I'd like to draw, you could do a full moon by drawing all the way around a circle like a glass, but I'm going to do a crescent moon. So I'm going to have my glass there, and I'm going to do a semicircle, a half circle. I'm going to start at the top and go round to the middle of the bottom of the glass. Then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go all the way around. So I'll show you the line that I've drawn. Can you have a go at that? If you want to have a moon on yours. And then I'm going to slide it forward a bit. Just a little bit. Just slide it forward a little bit and start at the top and do another semicircle. And oh, I've made a nice, neat moon. So you could put a moon. I think I'd like to have some trees, some Christmas trees growing. So to make a Christmas tree, I'm going to do a line in the middle, and then I'm going to do some branches coming down. So you can do maybe 3 on one side, 3 on the other, 3 little lines. Does that look like a Christmas tree? Ah, it gives you the idea, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3. And the great thing about using the black pen is it's going to really stand out against the light when your light's inside. I'm going to put another tree here. Maybe a smaller tree. Which one would you choose for your Christmas tree? If you have a Christmas tree in your house, a big one or a tiny one? Now I'm going to put a snowman in my snowy scene, because I imagine someone would make a snowman. It's going to have lots of snow in it. So to make a snowman, really simple snowman, you can make a big ball and then a little ball. And then you can have some little bits for the arms and feet. And to make the hat, you draw a line and then a little rectangle on top. Looks like he's gone out for a walk, doesn't it? I'm going to give him 3 buttons and put his eyes in. And there he is. There's my snowman. Okay, so that's quite a lot of drawing we've done now. So why don't we get to the messy bit? I'm just going to improve the focus. Can you see that? I hope you can see that a bit better now. Okay, so this is where the oil comes in. So you've got a little pot of oil. Careful you don't spill this, because it's a bit messy, go everywhere. So when you've got your oil ready, we're going to use that to paint in the things that you've done. So I'm going to paint in the moon. So when we're painting on the oil, it doesn't make much difference to the colour, does it? It's just going a bit darker. Can you see? Is yours going darker like that? So it looks like it's wet. But although it's not creating much bright colour, what it's doing is it's making the paper see-through. Not completely see-through, but enough to let the light shine through. Now, I didn't rub out my lines there, so and maybe I should have done that before I painted on the oil, but never mind. I still like the design. Now, once you've learned this technique, you can do loads of different designs. You can do anything you like. There we go. And I'll fill in this one. Oh, and don't forget your snowman. If you've done a snowman, here we go. There he is. Now, just to make sure it looks like it's been snowing, if you get your paintbrush and you just paint some snow along the top of your hillside, that's going to look like a lovely big thick layer of snow has landed. And when the light shines, it'll look really white and snowy. There we go. Lots of snow to build lots of snowmen. Okay, and finally, we're going to make use of our earbud or Q-tip. Now, this makes really nice little circles. We're going to do dot, dot, dot. If you don't have one, don't worry. You could use your brush to do little dots, or you could even dip your pinky in and make little dots like that. But it is easier with this. So if you've got one, you dip it in. You don't need much oil. And we're going to go dot, dot, dot. Look, it's snowing. Yay. It's going to be lovely thick snow. Are you hoping that it's going to snow this year? I'm really hoping it's going to snow because I really want to get out with my new sledge that I bought ages ago. But I bought it for last year and I don't remember it snowing last year, not enough to go sledging. So this is the year, I hope. Fingers crossed. Wonder what sort of things you like doing in the snow. Do you like building snowmen? Do you like snowball fights? Have you ever made a snow angel where you lie in the snow and you stretch your arms and your legs out and you move them up and down, and when you get up, you've left the shape of an angel? That's another lovely thing you can do. There, I think that's snowy enough. I don't know if you can see if I pick up. Can you just see a little bit the light shining through where we've made it transparent? Okay, so let's get our lantern fixed together. So for this, you're going to need your glue stick. So get your glue stick. And it's really simple. We're going to glue up one side. Now, I think what I'm actually going to do is glue the oily bit to the inside. So the side that you've been painting, we're going to put on the inside, so you're not touching the oil too much. It is a bit oily. Ideally, you'd leave it to dry, but it's okay. So I'm going to stick one edge over the other. It doesn't have to be too neat, so don't worry. Just stick it down. If you put your hand inside, that gives you a surface to stick down onto. Now, we're also going to need a circle to stick on the bottom. So I'm going to get my glass again and my other sheet of paper now, and I am going to draw around the whole way around this time. Make a rough circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. That'll do. Then we can cut that out. I'm just cutting it out really roughly because it's going to be in the bottom. It's the base of our lantern, and we don't need to see it in any detail. Okay, so that's my base. If I get the lantern here, do you remember we had all of these here? Well, this little frilly bit, we're going to push them down to make the base. Now we just need our circle here. I'm going to put lots and lots of glue on it. Oh, really gluey, really sticky. So it's going to stick down really well. I'm going to push all the little bits. You might want a grown up if it's a bit fiddly for you. I'm going to stick my circle down. Can you see it's sealing it all? And if I put my hand inside, I can push down and that will let me stick it on even better. Whoop, let it go. And there we go. It's got a base on it. Now there's something missing. We want to carry it around, don't we? And what are we missing? We haven't got a handle, of course. So to make our handle, we need to get back that bit of paper again. Now we don't want a really long handle, so we could use the short side of our paper. We can just fold it over. And if you try and line up the edges of the paper, that'll give you quite a nice straight bit of paper to fold in. You can see that. Can you see we've got just about 1.5 centimetres or so. Doesn't need to be very neat. And then we just snip along the line. Again, if you need a bit of help with cutting, you can ask a grown-up. There we go. So that is the handle. We get our lantern, and you know what we're going to need this time again? The glue. So we'll put a bit of glue on one end and on the other end. There we go. And we're just going to stick those in. Now I quite like to stick it. Can you see the join? If you put it on the inside so you don't see the edges of your hand, I quite like to stick it on the inside at the join. And then on the other side, opposite, just give it a little press. There we go. You can go all the way around and see your snowy scene. Hello, snowman. Now I'm going to change the camera now so I can see you again. Just move that out of the way. How did you get on with your lantern? Here's mine. It's got a moon. There you go, you can see the snow on the top, the stars. I wonder what designs you've put on yours. You can make lots of them, do all different kinds of designs. And then the fun bit, when it starts to get a bit dark, or you could go and close the curtains, put the lights out if you want to test straight away. Just get a little bike light will do, or any little battery operated candle, anything like that. Fairy lights, put it inside. You can't see it very well because it's not dark yet here, but when it gets dark, it's really going to glow. You'll be able to see your snowy scene. So I hope you've enjoyed making your lantern today. We'd love to see pictures of the ones that you make, and you can share these on any Ashmolean social media. So you can send in your pictures and we'd love to see those.